Well, Chris, how satisfying a victory was that, given the circumstances of the match and the way in which the team defended it through to the end?
Any result in this division is huge. Any win in this division's an outstanding win because of everything that I talk about or I've talked about openly and honestly. Not just this year, last year, and my last three and a half, 4 years, whatever it is, at this football club.
The circumstances of the match weren't helped, having taken the lead by the decision to send off Phil Jagielka via VAR. What's your opinion of that?
Harsh again. I don't think anybody from Villa can complain anything about some of the decisions that have gone against us. One of the biggest of all time has gone against us, so maybe I think if there was a complaint by anybody from them, maybe they, I don't know, need to maybe check themselves a little bit, because we've been on the receiving end of some poor decisions. 1, 2 at Villa Park. The John Egan one for me still is a really poor decision, and even that, you've seen the change of opinion on sort of the Matt Target challenge on Bash, without wanting to bring it all up. But yeah, I've got a memory like an elephant, so I'm gonna remember stuff. And yet again, Jags' decision. I think that the effort of the back three and not played at all together for a young kid out of an academy who's a good player, Ethan, who's a young player and who's making his way in the game in the tough environment of the Premier League. Phil, who's 38, 39, 2 games in 3 days against mobile athletic players, and Kean Bryan, who's finding his way in the game. So the main actors, as we talked about, are not there. So their effort, their performance, and just a huge desire to keep the ball out the back of the net. The structure was good. We ticked it off. I don't think we were ever going to come out and dominate the game when we go down to 10. And I think Jags' decision is a really harsh one, Andy. But off the back of that, players had to stand up, dig a little bit deep, give a little bit more, and they certainly did that.
Because of the circumstances of playing Villa and what's happened in the past, I know you've been asked about VAR this week already, but to take the incident tonight in isolation, if it's debatable as to whether you think Baldock might get back or Ampadu, why is it going to the video referee?
I don't know, Andy. I honestly don't know. It just seems now when you go straight to the video, it's going to happen. They're just cementing it. So I don't know who's making. Like I said, I don't know who makes these decisions. I really don't know. Sometimes it's the video ref, sometimes it's the referee. It's, as I said, it's confusing at the best of times, and I've said all along. Still got Jayden Bogle out, from that tackle that wasn't reckless. So it's, I don't know. We've had some bizarre decisions go against us, but. And another one tonight, in my opinion. But hopefully people will not talk about that and maybe talk about, yet again, character of the side. I think, which I've said all along, perception is huge in the game, and ultimately I take full responsibility for those results that haven't gone our way, which I get. That's my job as a manager. But I just said, that quite a lot of the games last year were like that. They were tight games. We had to take the opportunity, which we did. Fabulous goal by Didsey. And then we had to be good defensively, which we did. And as I said, people maybe go all romantic about some of the results that we had last year, but we got battered at Everton, and Mousset scored late on. At Brighton, it was a really tight game. At West Ham, it was a really tight game. At Palace, it was a really tight game. So, just as much as those were tight games last year, they've been the same this year. But our inability to take big chances and our ability to hand the game over to the opposition through individual errors, which at times you can't do anything about, has obviously changed a huge amount of results this season. Keep saying, bit in the middle, is debatable. But the two ends, the 2 penalty boxes, which ultimately decide games, we've got right tonight.
Yeah, and you really saw some proper stoic performances. You mentioned Ampadu before. Well, he was excellent in 2 roles tonight, essentially, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, we changed. He went to a 3. I must have think, well, what's happening here? We went to a 2 and then we went to a 3 again late on. But we just had to see the game out, so which we did. But yeah, you know, sometimes it's just that attitude of keeping the ball out the back of the net and a huge desire. It's not really, shall I show him this way, shall I show him that way, shall I get tight, shall I drop off? It's sometimes putting yourself right on the line and just doing whatever you can, every player, whether it's a set play, whether it's players tracking back, whether it's players finding themselves in positions that they're not usually, or whether it's just an ability to keep the ball out the back of the net. We've been critical from my point of view, not done it well enough that we did last season, and tonight we sort of were there and thereabouts. And as you said, off the back of being down to 10 men for a good chunk of the game.
You raised a few eyebrows with the sub of Burke. What was you thinking there?
Yeah, just make the decision. I think that was a decision that needed to be made. Ollie Mack ended up playing centre half anyway, so set pieces were key. So I made that decision. So I'm not too interested in feelings getting hurt. I'm interested in winning football matches for Sheffield United.
So 4 wins now, on to 14 points in the table, and a bit of confidence, an extra spring in the step with Southampton.
Fight still on for Europe, or what? We've still got a chance.
Well, if you say so, mathematically.
No, I'm not sure about that. Listen, you've just got to have a bit of pride back in us, a bit of respectability, and try and get something from the season. It's been a hell of a tough season, as I've said, and I'm the one always that has to come out and front it up. So I will do and always will do, good or bad, and I've had to do that quite a lot of times this season. Well, majority of it from the results that we've got. But it's been a tough week. Liverpool, like I said, it's that's not a straightforward game. We've talked about it. It's still Liverpool. It's still Sané, Salah, Mane, and everything else that comes with Liverpool. And Villa were the same tonight, and Southampton will be the same Saturday. But plenty of rest for them boys. And as I've said there, maybe their quotas of beers that they may have drunk tonight, if it was a Saturday or another day with a week's rest, that they might have had a couple of beers afterwards. I'll add them all up and do it myself.
Fair enough.
Cheers, mate.